The sun was just setting over the small town of Pineville, painting the sky in shades of gold and red. On the quiet main street, Michelle Carter, a hard-working black mother of two, hurried out of the grocery store, arms full of bags. She was rushing home to make dinner before her husband, Marcus, called from his deployment. Marcus wasn't just any husband. He was a highly trained Navy SEAL, often away on missions, but always just a call away when his family needed him. Michelle's car was parked near the curb, but as she approached, two local cops, Officer Travis and Officer Daniels, suddenly blocked her path. "Ma'am, is this your vehicle?" Travis asked, voice sharp, hand already resting on his belt. Michelle blinked, confused. "Yes, officer. Why? Is something wrong?" Without warning, the tone shifted. "Step away from the car!" Daniels barked. Michelle's heart pounded. People walking by slowed to watch. Michelle, trying to stay calm, raised her hand slightly. "I don't understand. Why are you stopping me?" "Suspicious activity," Travis snapped. Before Michelle could respond, they grabbed her arms, twisting them roughly behind her back. The grocery bags fell, cans rolling across the pavement. "You're hurting me!" Michelle cried out, struggling as they shoved her against the car. The growing crowd watched in shock. Michelle's kids, who had been waiting quietly in the back seat, began crying. One of them, little Jason, pressed his face to the window, screaming, "Mommy!" Michelle, her cheek pressed against the cold hood, knew she had one chance. "Let me make a call," she gasped, voice shaking. "Please, just one call." Travis sneered, but Daniels laughed. "Who you gonna call, lady?" "A lawyer?" With a trembling hand, Michelle reached for her phone as they shoved her to the ground. Her fingers, scraped and shaking, hit one saved number, Marcus. Thousands of miles away, in a secure Navy base, Marcus Carter sat sharpening his tactical knife when his phone buzzed. Seeing Michelle's name, he answered immediately. "Hey, baby, what's up?" But what he heard wasn't his wife's voice. It was chaos. Kids screaming, his wife crying out, male voices shouting. Marcus's face turned to stone. Without hesitation, he switched to his secure line, barking out orders. "Get me Pineville PD dispatch now!" Back in Pineville, Michelle felt knees dig into her back as she fought to breathe. But then, suddenly, the police radio on Officer Travis's shoulder crackled urgently. "Dispatch to Unit 4, come in! Urgent call from Naval Command. Confirm you have Michelle Carter in custody." Travis froze, eyes darting to Daniels. Yes, we have her." The radio crackled again. "Release her immediately. You are ordered to stand down." Daniels looked pale. "What the hell is going on?" Moments later, two black SUVs roared onto the scene, tires screeching. Men in dark suits and earpieces jumped out, moving with practiced precision. "Agents," one flashed his badge. "Naval Intelligence." "Step away from Mrs. Carter now." The officers stammered, hands raised, backing away as the agents helped Michelle to her feet. She was shaken, but her eyes burned with quiet fury. She knew Marcus was behind this. And sure enough, as one agent handed her the phone, Marcus's calm, deadly voice came through. "I'm on a plane now, baby. Hold tight. They're not getting away with this." Michelle's hands trembled as she wiped away tears. The officers, realizing just who they had manhandled, looked like they wanted to vanish into the pavement. But it was too late. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a career-ending disaster. Across the street, neighbors filmed everything on their phones. The news would spread like wildfire. And Marcus? He was already in the air, a man with a mission. Because when you lay a hand on the family of a Navy SEAL, you're not just messing with one person. You're bringing down the wrath of someone trained to fight, to defend, and to never back down. And Marcus Carter was coming home. The sun had barely shifted in the sky when the police station's front doors slammed open with a force that made everyone stop mid-sentence. Every officer, including the two who had assaulted Maya earlier, turned in surprise. There, in full tactical stride, walked Jason Carter, a towering figure in civilian clothes, but carrying himself with the unmistakable authority of a man who had seen battle. His military record spoke volumes: multiple deployments, special operations, and the unwavering discipline of a Navy SEAL. But right now, none of those medals mattered. Right now, he was here as a husband, and nothing could stand between him and his wife. "Maya," Jason's deep voice called, spotting her seated quietly on a bench inside the station. Her face lit up, not with relief, but with the deep, quiet trust she had always had in him. Even though she was bruised, even though she was shaken, she sat tall. She knew what was about to happen. Jason turned sharply to the two officers, Sergeant Miller and Officer Hayes, who had so confidently thrown their weight around just hours earlier. "Are you the ones?" Jason's voice was calm, too calm. Miller scoffed. "Look, sir, we don't need civilians coming in here." Before Miller could finish his sentence, Jason stepped forward, his eyes locked and unblinking. "You laid hands on my wife. You shoved her face into the ground in front of our children. And you did it without cause." The station room fell into stunned silence. Even the other officers knew something was wrong. They'd seen angry husbands before, but this was something different. Jason slowly pulled a small black wallet from his back pocket and flipped it open, revealing his military credentials. "Navy SEAL, special clearance. I've spent the last 15 years defending this country. And today I come home to find the people I defend brutalizing my own family." Hayes's face paled. Miller shifted uncomfortably. Jason took a slow step closer. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call your superior, not your direct superior. I want the precinct captain here. And I want internal affairs on the line, now." For a moment, it looked like Miller was going to argue. But the quiet authority in Jason's voice, the years of command, and the tension in the air made him hesitate. He reached shakily for the phone. While the call was made, Jason sat beside Maya, gently brushing a hand over hers. "I'm here, baby. I'm here now." Tears pricked Maya's eyes, but she squeezed his hand. "They thought they could break me." Jason smiled faintly. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Within an hour, the precinct captain arrived, along with two investigators from internal affairs. Jason presented his case systematically: the unwarranted stop, the excessive use of force, the complete disregard for Maya's rights, and, most damning of all, the body cam footage, which another sympathetic officer had quietly shared with Jason after recognizing him. The investigators watched the footage in stone-faced silence. There was no ambiguity. The officers had used aggression where none was needed, escalating a routine encounter into violence. By the time the sun was dipping low on the horizon, Miller and Hayes were suspended pending a full investigation. Jason and Maya were escorted home with apologies, but Jason knew this wasn't over. As they walked out of the station together, Maya leaned into Jason. "You didn't have to come so fast." Jason smiled, wrapping an arm around her. "The second you called, I knew. I knew you were holding the line, but no one messes with my family." That night, as they sat together on the porch, watching their children play under the stars, Maya rested her head on Jason's shoulder. She knew their fight wasn't just personal. It was part of something bigger, a stand for justice, for dignity, for every woman and mother who had been pushed down and silenced. Jason kissed her forehead gently. "We'll make sure this never happens again." And together they sat, a family united, stronger than the violence that had tried to divide them.